do you get people to do what you want them to do? Do you ever want to? So if you're a parent, a teacher, a coach, a boss, or a leader, and you are responsible for inspiring people, helping people, wanting them to be future adults that are responsible, you want the world to be a better place because there's great people living in it. Isn't that what coaches, teachers, parents, bosses, leaders are all about? How do you get people to be responsible adults, even if they're children? Now, I am not a parent, so I'm very careful about what I'm about to share with you. But there was a time in my life where we employed more than 200 people. So I was personally responsible for the lifestyle, the wages, how people lived, over 200 of them. And it's very difficult to find great people for your business. It's very, very difficult to find extra mile people for any organisation, any business, any sporting team. It seems there's three kinds of people in the world. There's people who never do enough. There's people who do just enough to get by. And then there's the extra mile people. So how do you inspire people to be extra mile? And it's been suggested that that's impossible. We're born that way. So you have to find those people. You have to find people who are respectful, kind, disciplined, talented, skilled, that you can't create them. The group in the middle, though, that do just enough to get by, they have to be trained. And if you are a parent, for example, which I'm not, but a lot of parents share with me, Rowie, you are involved with a lot of children, you have been involved with a lot of humans, inspiring them, helping them to get better, to be better people. How do you do that? And it's a ridiculous question to ask me because I can't do that. Nobody can do that. There's no expert on how do I make somebody a better person. Of course, the person has to want to be a better person. But how do we make that happen? How do we inspire people to want to be more than they are now? If somebody's average, can you inspire them to want to work harder, to put in more effort, to be more disciplined? And I was given a very special tool, and it's worked every time, for two reasons. One is it inspires people to get better, or it gets people out of your life, off your team, out of your organisation very, very quickly. So it's a very simple tool. When somebody joins your organisation, when you have children, and as soon as they are capable of understanding a conversation, the question is, who are you? So if you come into my organisation and I'm going to employ you, that's my very first question. Who are you? What do you stand for? What do you believe in? What are your non-negotiable standards? What wouldn't you compromise? And this is my favourite question. Please give me 5 words to describe you as a person. Now, it's interesting because in that situation, particularly if you're going to employ somebody, people usually lie. But what I'm about to share with you catches them out very quickly. So the first part of that is somebody will tell you who they are, what they stand for, what they believe in, and straight away you'll know they shouldn't be in your organisation, they shouldn't be on your team. So you can get rid of them straight away. That's awesome. The second part is they will lie to you and tell you stuff that you want to hear. But what you do now is you don't tell them what they need to do. You say, this is what you've shared with me is what our organisation needs. We need people who are the 5 words you have used to describe yourself. So in this organisation, we will hold you accountable to who you've told us you are. If you're a parent, it works just as beautifully, and I've shared this very special tool with many, many people, or many parents, and they've shared with me that it absolutely works. So you share with your children, who are you? What do you want to be known as? What do you want your teachers to say about you? What do you want your school friends to say about you? What do you want our next door neighbours to say about you? What do you want grandma and grandpa to talk about you? When they're talking about you, what do you want them to say? Give me 5 words that describe you as a person. And then you hold the person, the child, the team player, the person in your organisation, you hold them accountable to their own words. So if they screw up, make a mistake, which is completely different to having a poor attitude, being undisciplined, being rude, being disrespectful, which you would hope you would never find in your business. You'd never put somebody like that into your business. But if they've told you that they're respectful and they're punctual and they are disciplined and they're a professional person, let's just say they're the words they use to describe themselves in their interview, and then they do something that isn't that, so they arrive late or they don't wear their uniform or they tell a lie or they steal, all you have to do then is hold that person accountable to what they told you they are. So if somebody says to you, I'm honest, I'm punctual, I'm professional and I'm disciplined, and they arrive late, they don't do their job properly and they steal, you can simply say, this is what you told me at the start and it must be recorded. Ideally now you would film it. You'd say, please share with this camera who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in, and 5 words to describe you as a person. Then if they if they deviate from those things, you then play them back the video. You show them what they wrote down. My dogs are barking, and I love using my dogs as an example, because if my dogs screw up, it's not their fault. It's mine. I haven't trained them properly. So my dogs are trained that if somebody comes to our house, they need to bark. And I love that. That's what dogs do. Isn't that what humans, though, we should be doing too? If we are designed, or we have told people, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, this is the kind of person I am, then I have to be that person under all circumstances. So I'll use a child as an example. I don't have any, but I use this regularly at the martial arts club. Tell me who you are. We're going to have an adult conversation. I have this conversation with 5-year-olds. We're going to have an adult conversation. When you're at martial arts, when you're at school, when you're at home, your next door neighbours, your mum, your grandma, your grandpa, what kind of person are you? What do you want them to say about you? Give me 5 words to describe you as a person. And a 5-year-old can happily say, I want to be known that I'm happy, and that I'm honest, and that I'm respectful, and that I'm kind, and that I treat people well. I'll just use those as simple examples. So then if they're rude or disrespectful or nasty or do something that doesn't fit in with that, I can then say, this is what you told me at the start. Where does this fit in now? And 2 things happen. It's beautiful. One is the ultimate outcome, which is, Rowie, I've really screwed up. I told you I was that person. I haven't been that person. I'm really sorry. It's never going to happen again. And it's very rare for me. I don't like to give people second chances. If somebody tells me this is who they are, I believe them. And then if they're not that person, I don't want somebody to screw me over twice. If you lie to me once, I don't want to give you the opportunity to lie to me again. So it's very rare, and I'm an old lady, and I'm happy to share that with you, that I've been screwed over many times by people that have lied to me at the start. I've given them a second chance, they've lied again, and it hasn't ended well. But the ultimate end is that the person leaves. And if a person leaves because they told you they were a certain kind of person, and they lied, and they now have to say, no, I'm actually not that person, or their actions have proved that they're not that person, what a great outcome. It's called coaching them off the team. You don't have to fire them, you don't have to get rid of them, you don't have to say you don't have a spot on this team anymore. Children, it's a little bit more difficult. You can't say you can't be my child anymore. But something that works incredibly well is, I am very disappointed in you. You told me that you were this kind of a person, and your actions haven't lived up to that standard, your own standard. I didn't create these words, you did, and you haven't lived up to that standard. You have disappointed me. Have you disappointed yourself? And I've seen 5-year-old children react beautifully to that, which is, I'm very sorry, I'll never do it again. It makes them very aware of their actions. So I'm not going to pretend that I'm a character coach. I'm not going to pretend that I'm the best boss in the world. I'm not going to pretend that I know everything about anything. All I know every day is that I'm learning every day. But what I do know about human nature is I can't tell people what to do. Nobody likes to be told what to do. People lie. I've learnt that the hard way. People pretend to be something that they're not. But if I have an expectation of somebody, now they have to live up to my standards. I never ask somebody to live up to my standards. I want somebody to live up to their own expectations, their own standards. And if they let themselves down, that then becomes their challenge, not mine. So I often ask this question exactly, I'm paraphrasing because I use it in different examples, but ultimately is, you told me that you were this person. Have your actions lived up to this standard? No. If you're in my position, what would you do? And every single time the answer's been, well, I probably shouldn't be here. I should resign. I haven't lived up to the person that I told you that I was, which means you've coached them off the team without any hassle. Go, darling. So, if you want to live your life to the max, if you want to have great people in your life, if you want to have less stress when it comes to people, because in business, the ultimate stress is the people. And I hear this from business owners almost every day. This would be a great business if it wasn't for the people. People are very hard to manage. People are very hard to hold accountable. But if you have to hold them accountable to their own standards, it becomes very, very much easier to remove them from your organisation, to get them out of your life, because they have let themselves down, not you. So I don't tell people what to do. I never would. I don't have a standard that I want people to hold them my standard. I don't want people to live up to my standard. I want people to live up to their own standard. And it could be a very useful tool if you are a parent, a teacher, a coach, a boss, or a leader. If you've got people in your life that you are responsible for helping them become better adults, better human beings, more respectful, you don't have to tell them what to do. They're telling themselves what to do. And could it make life a little bit easier so that you could live your life to the max? Yeah.